Hello students, I am Sachitrakar. Welcome to Cars Physics. We are continuing chapter number 2, electric potential and capacitance. So this is lecture number 13. Okay. So actually in this lecture we should discuss about the behavior of electric dipole in electric field. Means directly speaking, in this lecture we should discuss about potential energy of dipole in uniform electric field. But I have already discussed this concept, means whole concept of the behavior of dipole in uniform electric field in chapter number 1. Okay. So first we will discuss about the previous concept, and in today's lecture we will discuss about dielectric polarization. Okay. So after the previous discussion means fundamental idea, we will move gradually and finally we will discuss about dielectric polarization. From very beginning I would like to advise you all my dear children, this discussion means this lecture is highly conceptual and very useful discussion for your both regular board level as well as for advanced level studies. Okay. First let's discuss about polar and non-polar molecules or polar and non-polar atoms. As we have discussed it, we have already discussed this concept. Atom is electrically neutral. Okay. Means total number of protons is equal to total number of electrons in an atom. So sum of charges is 0 since charge is scalar quantity. So atom is electrically neutral. So due to presence of negative charge due to protons, due to presence of negative charge due to electrons, there is a negative centroid, okay, or negative charge of concentration. Due to charge of protons means due to positive charge, there is a positive charge of concentration, okay, or a positive centroid. So in the atom there is a positive centroid due to charges of protons, negative centroid due to charges of electrons. Okay. The atom in which positive and negative centroids, so positive centroid due to positive charges, negative centroid due to negative charges, so due to protons and electrons, the atom in which positive and negative centroid coincide is called as non-polar atom, and the atom in which positive and negative centroids are separated by a distance is called as polar atom. Okay. And polar atom consists of electric dipole. Polar atom consists electric dipole. Okay. If a dipole is placed in uniform electric field, if a dipole is placed in uniform electric field, then resultant force on the dipole is always 0. Resultant force on the dipole is always 0, but resultant torque may or may not be equals to 0, because torque experienced by the dipole is P E sin theta, where P is a dipole moment and magnitude of dipole moment is Q into 2L, and it's a vector quantity, and its direction is from minus Q to plus Q, as we have discussed. Okay. If the dipole is parallel to the electric field, direction of dipole moment is from minus Q to plus Q. If the dipole is parallel to the field, then theta is 0 degree and torque is 0. Or if the dipole is placed anti-parallel, to the electric field, then angle is 180 degree, again torque is 0. If the dipole is placed perpendicular to electric field, then obviously torque is P sin 90 is 1, means torque is maximum. Okay. Then about potential energy of dipole. Potential energy of dipole is given as P E sin theta minus P E sin theta. We have already derived this expression in chapter number 1. If the dipole is parallel to electric field, then potential energy is minus P E cos theta. Minus P E cos theta. If dipole is parallel to electric field, then potential energy is minus P, means minimum. If the dipole is placed anti-parallel to electric field, means if theta is 180 degree, cos 180 is minus 1, then potential energy is plus P or it is maximum. These are the resulting concept of behavior of dipole in uniform electric field. So this is the position of stable equilibrium. So if the dipole is parallel to electric field, resultant force is 0, resultant torque is 0, potential energy is minimum, due to which if the dipole is parallel to electric field, then it is at stable equilibrium. Of course, another very important point, the tendency of dipole is to align itself parallel to uniform electric field. If a dipole is placed at any position, at any angle in an uniform electric field, then torque experienced by the dipole will keep the dipole parallel to the field. So the tendency of dipole is to align itself parallel to the electric field. As you know, if we represent an uniform electric field, parallel and equidistant electric field lines, and a dipole is placed at any position, this is minus Q, this is plus Q. So plus Q will experience a force parallel to the direction of electric field, this is force is equal to QE, and minus Q will experience a force anti-parallel, means opposite to the direction of electric field, then it is also QE. Distance is 2L, this angle is theta, so this is 2L sin theta. Now this torque will rotate the dipole and keep the dipole parallel to the direction of the electric field. So this is the concept which we have already discussed. Okay. So this is idea about polar or non-polar atoms or molecules and the behavior of dipole in uniform electric field, which we have already discussed. And we know polar and non-polar atoms or molecules, you have idea. Polar atom, you may take polar atom, example of water, and non-polar, maybe the good example is carbon dioxide. Okay, polar, water. Okay, and this is polar, and this is non-polar. You know it. Then, our further discussion moves on. We will come to this point after our fundamental discussion, which are also very, very, very important. So today's lecture is highly conceptual. So we'll come to this point. Our first discussion is conductor placed in an electrostatic, you may write uniform electric field. Of course, we are continuing electrostatics, the field is electrostatic field, means we are now considering uniform electric field. So what is the concept behind it? If a conductor is placed in uniform electric field, whatever be the shape of conductor, whatever be the shape of conductor, okay, maybe the conductor be irregular shaped or irregular shaped, whatever may be. Let's consider this is an uniform electric field. This is an uniform electric field, okay. Of course, in this case we may imagine these are two oppositely charged plates. These are two oppositely charged plates which are parallel to each other, okay. This plate is positively charged and this plate is negatively charged. Of course, we may consider uniformly charged plates, okay. We may imagine an uniform electric field, let strength is E, field strength is E, exists between two oppositely charged plates, okay. So our discussion is conductor placed in uniform electric field. I have already told you whatever be the shape of conductor, let's consider a regular shaped conductor, okay. Let's consider a regular shaped conductor. Of course, you may take irregular shape, whatever be the shape doesn't matter, okay. So this is a conducting plate having some thickness placed in uniform electric field E. Then what will happen? Okay, see, the basic difference between conductor and insulator, there are so many discussions. The basic discussion between conductor and insulator, of course, we will discuss briefly on semiconductor. In our final discussion means in semiconductor devices. Okay, so conductor is a substance which allows the flow of charge in it. Conductor is a substance which allows the flow of charge in it, but charge can't flow through an insulator. Charge can't flow through an insulator. What? The basic discussion is conductor contains a high number density of free electrons. Conductor contains a high number density of free electrons. In a good conductor, there are so many numbers of free electrons or mobile electrons. So in insulator, approximately we do say there is no free electron in an insulator. Okay. So how free electrons are produced, we have already discussed. See, atom is electrically neutral. It contains positively charged core, which is nucleus, around which electrons revolve in different orbits. Electrons revolve in different orbits. Okay. The electron which is in outermost orbit, is sufficiently apparatus, relatively sufficiently apparatus from the nucleus. So the binding energy of electron is very small, or you may say the force of attraction on this electron due to proton is very small. Since the distance is more, force is less. Okay. So nuclear range is about 10 to the power minus 15 meter. If the distance is approximately tends to 10 to the power minus 15 meter or slightly variation is there, then force of attraction decreases. Also binding energy is very small. If the atom gains energy, from external source, how the atom can gain energy? Atom can gain energy either by applying thermal energy, heat energy. Atom can gain energy if thermal energy is given to a substance, or by applying external electric field, because the electric field, where there is electric field, there is energy, there is momentum, because field is the concept of energy. Field is the concept of energy. So if the atom gains energy from external source, this electron easily escapes out from the orbit. This electron, which is in outermost orbit of nucleus, easily escapes out from the orbit because its binding energy is very small. If the atom gains energy, then this outermost orbit, the electron in outermost orbit also gains electron and escapes out from the atom. So, if this electron goes out from the nucleus, from the atomic structure, then this electron becomes free electron. So this electron is free to move inside the substance. Okay, this is negatively charged. Electron is negatively charged. Now, atom was previously neutral. Now the atom becomes positively charged ion. Okay. If an atom loses electron, then the electron is called as free electron. Or mobile electron. It can move throughout the substance, mobile electron. And the atom loses electron. As we know, which losses electron becomes positively charged, and this is positively charged ion. Atom becomes positively charged ion. Okay. So this is the concept. The substance in which there are high number density of free electrons. Number density means number of free electrons, number of free electrons per unit volume of substance. So the atom, conductor is a substance which contains a high number density of free electrons, and insulator has approximately no free electron. This is the concept. Okay. Now, a conductor is placed in uniform electric field. This is a conducting slab. We may imagine like this. This is a conducting slab, whatever be the shape, placed in uniform electric field. So, there is electric field lines, of course, everywhere in the field. But when the conductor is placed in the electric field lines are directed from high potential to low potential. Here we have imagined the electric field exists between two oppositely charged plates. One is positively charged and other is negatively charged. Then, since this is a conducting material, it has a high number density of electrons. So, electrons move towards positive. So, electrons get attracted towards positive. So, electrons get deposited near the surface, means nearer to positive charge plate. And accordingly, electrons move towards the free end, which is nearer to positively charged plate, and positive ions. The atom now lost electron, atom has lost electron, and atoms are now positively charged ions, and positively charged ions get pulled towards negatively charged plate, means positively charged ions appear at the free end of conducting substance which is nearer to negatively charged plate. See, if a neutral conducting plate is placed in uniform electric field, then electrons, means negative charges, move towards the free end nearer to positively charged plate and get accumulated near the free end of one of the free end of metallic plate, which is nearer to positively charged plate. Similarly, positively charged ions move inside the conductor under the effect of external electric field. Of course, this is electrostatic field. It is electrostatic field. So, positively charged ions get deposited at the free end of metallic conductor or metallic substance which is nearer to negatively charged plate. Of course, now an electric field will be produced inside the conductor. Inside the conductor, which is directed from positive to negative. Let the initial electric field, which is between positive and negatively charged plate, is inert, and electric field now inside it is, this is E, this is let E dash. Okay. Then this electric field inside the conductor is opposite to the direction of original electric field between two oppositely charged plates. Okay, electric field is vector. So this electric field is in opposite to the direction of original electric field, and this strength of induced field, this is induced electric field. These charges are induced charges. The strength of induced electric field goes on increasing. The strength of induced electric field goes on increasing till its magnitude becomes equals to magnitude of external electric field, external electrostatic field. Okay. So, again, to increase its strength, more and more charges will get deposited at both the free ends. So, the strength of electric field goes on increasing till magnitude of induced electric field inside the conductor becomes equals to original external electric field. In that case, since these are vectors, vector sum of external electric field and induced electric field is zero, since both are in both are in opposite direction. Magnitude same, direction opposite, so resultant field is zero. So finally, this electric field cancels this electric field. Okay, means inside it, not outside it. Okay, so finally what happens? Inside the conductor becomes free. I am representing in some other diagram just below it. Okay, this is electrostatic external electric field, and here there is induced electric field, and here the strength of induced electric field goes on increasing till magnitude of induced electric field becomes equals to magnitude of external electric field, and finally inside the conductor, see, these are the electric fields inside the conductor. Okay, so this is E, and finally the induced electric field balances the external electric field, and this is our final diagram. I am representing here in some smaller space. Okay, this is the metallic conductor. So finally, there will be no electric field. If this cancels, induced electric field cancels the external electric field. So finally, resultant electric field inside the conductor is zero. Okay, so this is the cause we usually say, if a conductor is placed in uniform electric field, no field lines pass through the conductor. No field lines pass through the conductor. It is due to the fact that the induced electric field balances the external electric field. So resultant electric field inside the conductor is zero. This is the behavior of conductor. This is the behavior of conductor placed in uniform electric field. Okay. Will I erase it now? Okay. Now, let's see behavior of different properties of conductor. Different properties of conductor. Number one, if a conductor is placed in uniform or non-uniform in electrostatic field. These are very important discussions. Electrostatic field, then resultant electric field, inside it is zero. Resultant electric field is inside it is zero. Okay, this is our point. Then some other points. Number two. Okay, electric field is always perpendicular to the surface of a charged body. Always perpendicular to the surface of a charged body. Number three, electric field due to a charged conductor, general formula charged conductor is given as E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught, where sigma is uniform surface charge density. Again, we know this. If charge is given to a conductor, no charge remains inside the body. Total charge is distributed on the surface, and sigma is uniform surface charge density. Electric field near the electric field outside the surface. Okay, for a charged conductor is given as surface charge density upon epsilon naught. This is already we have derived in application of Gauss law. Okay, next, I'm erasing all this. Next, some other points also about conductor. Okay, about conductor. Okay, suppose this is a conducting body with a cavity. This is a cavity. This is conducting body. Suppose some charge, let Q is given to the conductor. Q is given to the conductor. Okay, Q is given to the conductor. Okay, then what will happen? If Q is given, then the induced opposite charge will develop. Inside it, this is minus Q, and outside this will be positive. Total charge will be plus Q. So, inside a conductor, this cavity is inside the conductor, there must be zero electric field. Okay, there must be zero electric field. As we know, formula for flux, surface integral of E dot ds is equal to 1 by epsilon naught into charge. I am taking here sum of charge. So, inside the conductor electric field is zero. So, if E is zero, then we may write then sum of charge inside the conductor is zero. This is plus Q, and induced charge is minus Q. Total sum of charge inside the conductor is zero. Okay. So, this is about a conducting body. Now, a very important discussion, electrostatic shielding. Electrostatic shielding, this is a very good concept. See, again, let's imagine these are two parallel plates, which are oppositely charged. This is positively charged plate and this is negatively charged plate, and as we know, electric field lines are parallel and equidistant. Here uniformly charged plates. So here an uniform electric field exists. Okay. Now let a hollow conductor, this is a hollow conductor, hollow. This is a hollow conductor placed. This is solid part, this is solid part, this is solid part. Okay. A hollow conductor is placed in an uniform electric field, but we know, now we have discussed conductor with cavity, electric field is 0. So this is a hollow conductor, this is air or vacuum, so there must not be electric field inside it. So what will happen? If this is positive, then induced charges, negative charges will develop at this free end, and induced positive charge will develop at this free end. Okay. Then there will be no electric field, there will be no electric field, there will be no electric field inside it. Then what will happen now? Electric field lines originate from positive and end on negative, and so on, and so on, and so on. What about these two lines of forces, two or more? Here, this is positive, negative charge will develop. Here, this is negative, positive charge will develop. Negative, positive. So, electric field lines are get attracted towards negative and move towards positive. Okay. See, inside means if a hollow conductor is placed inside an electric field, then inside the electric field there is no charge, there is no electric field. Okay. So what is usefulness of electrostatic shielding? Suppose a general question during the time of thunderstorm. During the time of thunderstorm, 4 options. During the time of thunderstorm, you will like to remain. You will like to, number 1, remain or stand under a tree, lie on a field, remain inside a car. Number 4, embrace on electric pole. During the time of thunderstorm, you like to remain or stand under a tree, lie on a open field, or remain inside a car, or embrace an electric field. Then correct option is think. Yes, to lie on a field. To lie on a field. Correct option is to remain inside a car. To remain inside a car, because car is metallic. Inside the car is free from any electric field. If electric field is 0, then force is 0. So inside the car will not get any fatal shock. Okay. So there will be no force, electric force inside the car. Of course, the concept of electrostatic shielding is used to protect sensitive electric instruments. To protect sensitive electric instruments are kept in metallic box, because inside of metallic box is free from electric field, so it provides electrostatic shielding. Okay. Then we go to our further discussion. Okay. Insulators in electric field. Insulator kept in electric field. See, this is an uniform electric field. Let's assume like this. This is an electric field. Okay. If an insulator of any shape is kept inside it, if an insulator is kept inside it, generally, the atoms of insulator are nonpolar. Generally, the atoms of insulator are nonpolar, means in atom both positive and negative centroids coincide. Okay. So what will happen if insulator is kept in uniform electric field? See, what is concept of atom? Nucleus contains positive charge and electrons move all around the electron. Electrons are negatively charged. Okay. So if an insulating body or insulating substance is kept in uniform electric field, these electrons which revolve around nucleus will get attracted towards or opposite to the direction of electric field. Electrons will get attracted opposite in the direction of electric field. Means the orbit of electron, suppose this is the orbit of electron, the orbit of electron will get stretched. Orbit of electron will get stretched because the electron is attracted opposite to the direction of electric field. So orbit of electron gets stretched, so that previously positive and negative centroids were coinciding, but now the orbit gets stretched, means concentration of electrons will be shifted towards high potential. So the centroids will get separated, total negative and total positive charge, and atom is now becomes a polar atom. So this is called as polarization. Okay. Similarly, the atoms will get polarized. Like this. Okay. So if an insulating medium or insulating substance is kept in uniform electric field, then atoms are polarized depending upon the strength of electric field. More the strength of electric field, more atoms will get polarized. This is the concept. Okay. Then, now we'll come to today's discussion, final discussion, dielectric polarization. What is dielectric? First thing is, what is dielectric? Dielectric is also an insulator. So, dielectric is a type of insulator which can be polarized. Dielectric is a type of insulator which can be polarized. So, moreover, we can say dielectric means, dielectric medium means an insulating medium, but it can be polarized. Okay. Let's see now. Suppose, again we may assume this is an electric field produced by, we may imagine, between two oppositely charged plates. This is positive, this is negative. Okay. I'm reducing the space. These are two oppositely charged plates. This is positively charged plate and this is negatively charged plate. So obviously electric field exists in it. So before the electric field is applied, okay. Suppose this is a dielectric medium placed in uniform electric field. Okay, this is positive, this is negative. So suppose this dielectric, atoms of dielectrics are already polarized. So what is basic discussion? Generally the atoms of insulators are non-polar. If it is placed in strong electric field, not only electric field, if the insulator is placed in strong electric field, strong electric field, then orbits of electrons get stretched, and positive and negative centroids get separated, and atom becomes polarized. Okay. So what is the actual form? See, this is an atom, this is positive, this is negative, this is an atom, this is negative, this is positive, this is an atom, this is negative, this is positive. Similarly, this is an atom, this is positive, this is negative. Okay, this is an atom, this is negative, this is positive. So this is an atom, this is negative, this is positive, this is an atom, this is negative, and this is positive. Usually the polar atoms, if the dielectric contains polar atoms, after being placed in a strong electric field, the polar atoms are usually arranged like this, means positive centroid of one atom remains negative of other. Okay, and so on. Okay, so that this positive and this negative neutralize each other. This positive and this negative neutralize each other. But if the electric field is stronger, so I have already told you the polar atom contains electric dipole. These are the electric dipole. This is the direction of dipole moment. This is the direction, sorry. This is plus, sorry. This is minus. This is plus, this is minus. So you may take another one. This is plus, this is plus, this is minus. Okay, you may keep like this. Okay, so this is dipole moment, this is dipole moment, this is dipole moment, this is dipole moment, and this is dipole moment, this is dipole moment, and this is dipole moment. Dipole moments are directed from negative to positive. So the dipole moments are randomly distributed, means the dipole moments are in all possible directions. But if the electric field is stronger, what will happen? So I have already discussed, if a dipole is placed in uniform electric field in any orientation, at any angle, then the tendency of dipole to keep parallel or to align itself parallel to the direction of electric field. So our final configuration of this diagram, this is the initial condition. So if the electric field is stronger, then the orientation of dipole moments will be parallel to electric field. Okay, this is positively charged plate. This is negative. This is original electric field. Let original electric field is E naught. Okay, original electric field is E naught in all directions. Okay. Uniform electric field. Okay. Now, the electrons, means the dipoles, are aligned itself. The dipole will align itself parallel to the field. So stronger the electric field, more will be similar alignment. So positive, this will be negative, positive. So, the dipoles will align parallel to the direction of electric field depending upon the strength of electric field, depending upon the strength of electric field. More the strength of electric field, more is the alignment of the dipole in the direction of electric field. In the given figure, let's consider all the dipole moments are aligned in same order. Okay. Then here, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. So, see, this line is AB, this line is CD. Between line AB and CD, all the charges are neutralizing each other, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. So, all these charges are neutralizing each other. Okay. Then remains these charges negative which appear at the free end, of the dielectric slab, and these positive charges appear at the free end of dielectric slab. Let uniform charge density of this charge plate is sigma. Uniform charge density is sigma p, means polarized charges, per charge due to polarization, sigma p and sigma. Let's assume like this. So this is the representation of polarization of dipole moment. Okay. Polarization of dielectric medium. Okay. Next, another term comes dielectric. This is B, this is D. Dielectric polarization vector, or we may say dielectric, or we may say polarization density. Let's take it P dash, it is a vector. It is defined as dipole moment per unit volume of dielectric. Dipole moment per unit volume of dielectric. See, dipole moments are all in same direction. Okay. All in same direction, from negative to positive, from negative to positive, from negative to positive, from negative to positive, from negative to positive. Okay. So dipole moment per unit volume of dielectric, also it may be written as P dash. P dash is equal to, first let's take units. In SI, dipole moment is Coulomb into meter, volume is meter cube, then finally it is Coulomb per meter square, and dimensional formula, Coulomb means current into time, meter square L to the power 2. So you may write like this, m to the power 0, L to the power minus 2, t to the power 1, a to the power 1. Okay. So units and dimensions of dielectric polarization vector or polarization density. Okay. Okay. Take it. Very good concept. I will go ahead now. Okay. So here positive charge and here negative charge. Charge density is polarization charge density, sigma p, and original charge density of the plate is sigma. Okay. Let's take another assumption. I am erasing this. Let QP is polarized charge. Total polarized charge is QP, or you may say it induced charge. She means in same way induced charge. This is induced charge, this is also induced charge. Polarized charge or induced charge. Okay. Then dipole dielectric polarization vector P dash, dielectric polarization vector is P dash, and it is equals to dipole moment per volume. Dipole moment is Q into 2L. I am taking L. Okay, total length is let L of this dielectric substance. Total L is L, and total dipole moment is Q into L. Total charge is Q, or you may write QP. Okay, Q into L, and volume. Let area, means this is thickness, area of thickness. This is thickness, area of this is A into length is L, then this is Q by A. Then this is Q by A, we may write is polarized charge or induced charge, QP divided by area. A is area. Okay. So finally we may write, I am erasing this P dash. See, charge per unit area is a charge density, but this is polarized charge. We may write sigma P. Polarized charge density, sigma P, polarized charge per unit area. Okay, take it first. Very good concept is coming. Dielectric polarization vector also it comes in your board. Okay, next. Keep this is in your mind. Now, the concept polarization, dipole polarization vector is directly proportional to electric field inside the dielectric. See, electric field can exist inside insulator. So electric field can exist inside dielectric. Okay. If a dielectric material is placed in uniform electric field, there may be electric field inside it. So polarization vector directly proportional to electric field strength inside the dielectric. More the strength of electric field, more will be the magnitude of polarization vector. So you may write it. If external electric field is E is external electric field which exists between two oppositely charged plates, then polarization vector P dash is directly proportional to E dash. E dash is electric field inside the dielectric, E is external electric field, and we may write P dash is equal to a constant into E dash. Okay. And finally, P dash is equal to Xi E. So Xi E, I will write here Xi E into epsilon naught into electric field, where Xi E, this is called as Xi E for electric, it is called as susceptibility of, or you may write simply electric susceptibility, because again we will face this susceptibility, the term called susceptibility in magnetism, magnetic susceptibility. This is the electric susceptibility. Okay, I am writing about this. It shows how electric susceptibility or it shows, or it measures how easily a substance can be polarized. In magnetism, we will say magnetic susceptibility shows how easily a substance can be magnetized, and here how easily a substance can be polarized. Okay. This is susceptibility. I am erasing these two lines. Okay. Now, next point, reduced electric field inside dielectric. See, inside dielectric there is original electric field E. Also inside dielectric there is electric field, let E dash, or polarized electric field. Okay, electric field strength inside dielectric is polarization, due to polarization E dash. Okay, so reduced electric field, or you may take it E0. Okay, previously we have taken it E naught. E naught is external electric field, E dash is electric field strength inside the dielectric. So both are, if this is the direction of external electric field, then inside dielectric this is direction of polarized or induced electric field. Then resultant electric field will take E naught minus E, you take it E dash. Okay, E naught minus E dash. Okay. See, this positive charge, this is the negative, external electric field is from positive to negative, and here induced charge is like negative, positive, negative, positive, so induced electric field is opposite. So direction is opposite, so this is resultant electric field. Also we may write, in place of E naught, sigma divided by epsilon naught. Electric field is sigma divided by epsilon naught, what we have discussed, and E naught, this is electric field due to this charge plate outside the charge plate is sigma divided by epsilon naught, and E dash is induced electric field, which may be written as sigma P divided by epsilon naught. This is induced E dash, or you may write EP. Okay, polarized electric field. So finally, resulting electric field is, this is E naught, this is E naught, write it E naught. Okay, E naught. Again, sigma by epsilon naught minus sigma P by epsilon naught, sigma P by epsilon naught. See, sigma P. What is sigma P? Sigma P is induced charge density, sigma P is induced charge density. So I may write, in place of sigma P, P dash by epsilon naught into E. Okay, this relation we have already got. Sigma by epsilon naught, we know it from Gauss law. Again, sigma P by epsilon naught, sigma P is P dash, sigma P is P dash, sigma P is P dash per unit electric field. So in place of sigma P by epsilon naught, we can write, sigma P is epsilon P dash. Okay, sigma P is P dash, means induced dipole moment. So in place of sigma P, we can write P dash divided by epsilon naught. So this is P naught, this is E naught in place of E naught. Okay, so if I write it again, E naught minus P dash by epsilon naught. Okay, then now divide both sides. E by E is equal to epsilon naught minus P dash by epsilon naught into E divided by, dividing both sides E. Then this is 1. This is 1. Okay. Then this will be epsilon naught by, E naught by E minus P dash by epsilon naught into E. Is it right? See it, check it. E by E is 1, epsilon naught by E minus P naught by. Okay. See this relation, if you are confusing how, if sigma P is written as P dash, previously we have drawn P dash is QP by area. So P dash is equal to sigma P. We have done it before. Okay. So in place of sigma P, we are writing P dash. Okay. Then this is epsilon naught into E. Okay. Epsilon naught into E. Right. Then E naught by E. Okay. E naught by E is equal to epsilon naught, because where to write electric field K, Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. In general formula, electric field E in a medium 4 pi epsilon naught epsilon R into R square. So E naught by E is epsilon R, means dielectric constant, minus P dash by epsilon naught into E. Okay. Then finally we may write, will I erase this part? Of course I am erasing this part, the upper part. This is known. This is final conclusion line. This is conclusion. So 1 is equal to, or you may write epsilon R. Epsilon R is equal to 1 plus P dash divided by epsilon naught into E. Epsilon R means relative permittivity is equal to 1 plus P dash by epsilon naught into E. And finally, epsilon R is equal to 1 plus P dash is epsilon naught J, means for electric, into epsilon naught into E divided by epsilon naught E. Okay. P get cancelled. Epsilon naught get cancelled. Then relative permittivity is epsilon naught. Okay. J into E. So epsilon R relative permittivity is 1 plus electric susceptibility. 1 plus electric susceptibility. This is very useful for competitive level also. So time to time pause the video and repeat your studies. Again, I will like to advise you, this class is very, very important and highly conceptual. In next lecture, in lecture number 14, we will move to capacitor and capacitance. Thanks children. Thanks for your sincere support. Thanks.